because we are back. We are back for part two. And this is the after party, y'all. The after party. If you did not catch my review on the regular episode, please go back and watch it. I'm going to leave the link at the end of this video I'm doing now. But now my name is Deborah. For any of you that are here for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for joining us. And all my regulars, I know we are just a fit to be tied this whole season long. But you know, I had to come back for this after party. I had to come back from this after party because it was wild. It was wild. There was a lot of accusations flying around on this after party. It was a lot of accusations. Last week, I was telling y'all I didn't think these men was going to show up anymore at all. I was telling you that they had a pact, that they was not going to show up. Mum's the word. They didn't want to come over here, but you know what? They came on here firing. They was lighting up the place. But you know who came on here to help defend all the ladies? You know who they gonna bring? They brought Lauren. So Lauren was sitting in between Brennan and Cameron. And let me tell you, Orion wasn't here for Lauren to fight with, but you know what she did? She decided I'm gonna attack Cameron anyway. Woo, woo, woo. You talk about Lauren when she says I'm going to hold Orion accountable. Lauren was here saying I'm going to hold Cameron accountable too. You know what? Who knows who's the liar, who's the truth? But we're going to talk about all these lies. And you know what? Y'all can judge for yourself who's the lie. I'm not going to keep saying who's the liar. I done said it so many times in the last video. Y'all can decide who is the liar in your eyes, but we're going to talk about it. So this was the first time Cameron has even been on here. I told y'all I hadn't seen him. I think this is Brennan's second time. Austin has been on here one time, and this is Cameron's first time coming on. So Keisha and I pulling was like, welcome Cameron. Welcome to the hot table. Welcome to the hot seat. Brennan said that when Keisha and I pulling was saying, Brennan, how'd you like Dr. Pia coming? He goes, oh, I was looking forward to it. No, you weren't. Brennan lying. I'm telling you, Brennan sure knows how to lie. He said, oh, I was looking forward to Dr. Pia. That was until Dr. Pia told him he needed therapy. Then he was like, when's she leaving? When is she leaving? And Cameron said he found it helpful to meet with Dr. Pia. Cameron been on here meeting with all kind of therapists all season long. Besides Dr. Pia, he meeting with his wife, who's a therapist, and he been meeting with his wife's friends, who's a therapist, because we know Cameron got a whole lot to hide. Cameron don't want you to know who he really is. He got a whole lot to hide. But it sounds like in between the show and in between now, Cameron went home and did a whole lot of thinking, a whole lot of reflecting, because in this after party, he got a whole lot to talk about. He says he's finally telling the truth. That's what he's on here saying now. I got to be honest now. I got to tell y'all the real truth. So first it starts off, his first truth is to talk about his dad, to tell us the real story about his dad. So Keisha and I pulled him and said, oh, how's your dad doing? He said, well, the same. Come to find out that this illness with the father is a chronic illness, y'all. Chronic illness. This been going on since Cameron was darn near 13 years old. Cameron had us all believing that his father was on the deathbed. You mean that your daddy been on the deathbed since you was 13, 20 years? That ain't called the deathbed when you last him 20 years after the deathbed, Cameron. Nobody don't stay in hospice for 20 years. He said his dad has had a chronic illness since he and his mama divorced, and the parents divorced when he was 13 years old. Listen to this story, y'all. He said his father has had a chronic illness since he was 13 years old when his mom and dad divorced. So when we were talking about Cameron, do your parents even know that you got married? And he said, no. Why would I want to tell a man on his deathbed? Well, he's been on the deathbed for 20 years. That means you ain't told him nothing for 20 years. Second of all, why didn't you tell your mama? Your parents are divorced. So what difference does it make? So even if you didn't want to tell your daddy, why didn't you tell your mama or your brother or no one else? Cameron got a whole web of lies weaving. We need to call him Spider-Man. He down there with all them spiders because he's weaving a whole lot of web of lies too. He said that his father had so much emotional trauma when the mother and father divorced that his father's lung collapsed. I'm not laughing at his daddy. What I'm really laughing at, y'all, are these stories. This is unbelievable. So all this time, when Cameron was telling Claire about why the father doesn't know about the marriage and why he's not close to the daddy, this goes back 20 years, Cameron. 20 years you ain't been close to your daddy. because of emotional trauma that collapsed his lungs. He said he tried to come clean with Claire and say, I think Claire misunderstood me when I told her my daddy was on his deathbed. I think she thought it was a temporary illness. Well, first of all, Cameron, when you told that the father couldn't come to the wedding, everyone thought it was a temporary illness because you told him he couldn't travel. Next thing you know, you told us he was on his deathbed. That was the next story you told. Now we find out he's been on the deathbed for 20 years. Where's the daddy? We need to hear from the father. Because right now, Spider-Man is weaving a whole lot of webs. And let me tell you, none of this is making no sense at all. All to cover up the fact that, like I told y'all before, Cameron's a loner. He's a loner, a bona fide loner. And he doesn't really want no one to know about it. That's why he was so afraid to talk to the therapist, Claire, and everybody else, because he don't want nobody finding out what his real life is like. Then they switched over to Lauren, and they showed that scene with Lauren where she started calling Orion the gaslighter, and Keisha Knight Pulliam was like, oh, do you think Keisha Knight Pulliam was praising Lauren for saying, oh, I'm glad you held him accountable. Keisha Knight, girl, be quiet. Sit on over there. Sit on over there, Keisha Knight. Let us take care of this right here, because you can't have no objectivity when it comes to Lauren. We already see that. She don't see no parts of Lauren whatsoever. But anyway, Lauren sat over there and talked about, yeah, you know what, I had to hold him accountable because he don't want to be held accountable to nothing. Well, what about you, Lauren? What do you want to be held accountable for? Cameron stood up and said, yeah, I just think Orion might not be used to being held accountable by anything. He's not good with conflict resolution. That's what Cameron said. And he may not realize that he can go through his whole life and hurt somebody. I don't know. Cameron was talking a whole lot of stuff. I was like, okay, Cameron, you here for the first time, but you sure got a lot to say. But all right, we're going to listen. We're going to listen to what you have to say. Brennan just sat over there and said, this is all a learning experience to me. I'm just trying to learn. Well, now you are. Now you're trying to learn. Keisha Knight Pulliam said, well, do you think differently about therapy now? Now that you've had a chance to watch back things? He goes, yeah, I do think differently about it. I bet you do after you got told off by Dr. Pia. After you got told off by Dr. Pia and said, let me tell you something, you need therapy. Now, after a while, after he had a chance to listen to it, he said, well, maybe I do. Yeah, you do. You do, Brennan. You need therapy. He said, yeah, at first I was thinking that when I don't have no feelings, that ain't really a feeling. No, that's a feeling. You ain't got no feelings. You ain't got no positive feelings, but you got some negative feelings. And he said, yeah, I guess now I realize that I do have emotions. I do have feelings, and I do need to learn how to express them. He said, I guess I really couldn't just deal with the truth. Bravo, Brennan. Bravo, like I was calling him in my earlier video. Bravo, Brennan KGB 105632. They said, well, now are you really ready to tell the truth of why you didn't like Emily in the first place? Now that you realize you need therapy and you realize that you don't know how to really express your real feelings, are you ready to express them here now? He said, yeah, well, I guess the real, what it really was about was I was just turned off. I was turned off by when Emily said that she gets ghosted by a lot of men. I was turned off by the fact that Emily said that she has one night stands and she's only been in situationships and she never had a boyfriend who wanted to stick around. Thank you, Brennan. That's all you had to say from the very beginning. All this dipping and diving and sneaking and Secret Service KGB stuff going on. The truth will set you free, Brennan. The truth will set you free. And Keisha Knight Pulliam was saying, well, you didn't want to try. He goes, no, I can't fix it. I can't fix it. And she was like, well, why can't you fix it? Because Keisha Knight Pulliam, he can't fix the past. Emily's past is Emily's past. Emily's past is what she did. He can't fix it. He can't fix it. And he can't turn a blind eye to it. I know everybody out here don't want to call it slut shaming. Brennan has slut shamed Emily too, just like Orion slut shamed Lauren. And all these women can sit out here and pretend like men don't slut shame women. But I hope you learned today. I hope all you women out there who've learned that men slut shame women, whether they tell you or they don't. So the best advice I can give to you from Auntie Deborah is keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Because they're either going to do what they're either going to do what Orion did and tell you to their face they don't like it, or they're going to do what Brennan did and they're not going to tell you to their face, but they're still not going to want to be with you. So keep your sexual history to yourself. And that's the advice for Emily. That's the advice for Lauren and anybody else out there in the world. I thought this was basic knowledge, but I guess it ain't. I guess we got to go over this kind of stuff. So Cameron said, I want to get something else out of my chest. I want to tell some more truth. On the show, I was trying to pretend like the biggest issues between me and Claire was the fact that, our religious differences and how we wanted to raise our kids. But, I want to retract that now, because now that I had a chance to think about it, I came up with a better answer. And my better answer now is the fact that, you know what, I didn't really feel safe with Claire, and I felt rejected, and I was afraid to go deep with her. And that's why, you know, I really wasn't connecting with her. I was afraid to go deeper and get hurt. That's good, Cameron. Now you come back and came up with a better answer. That's a whole lot better than the previous answer you was given before. And to be honest with you, I do believe that's the real answer. I believe, like I said before, that Cameron has a real difficulty connecting with people, period. Now, his real truth should come when he starts blaming everything on Claire. It should come in the form of, I don't connect with people easily, period. So it don't matter if it was Claire or anyone else, it was going to be a struggle, period. But because Claire is who she is, because she's negative, because she nitpicks, because she puts down, because she condescends, she talks in a condescending manner, she was an extra trigger for Cameron, an extra trigger. He didn't need no wife like Claire, no wife like Claire whatsoever, because he was already underground with his feelings, his emotions. He's already awkward. He already don't make connections. Cameron don't have no real friends. I'm telling you right now, Cameron don't have no deep connections. And for a person that already is a loner, a lone wolf, being paired with a person like Claire, who nitpicks on you, talks about the way you dress, talks about everything else about you, please, that sends you so far down in the underground, you don't even want to come out. He's deep down in that basement, like that basement apartment with them spiders. And he said, I'm going to tell another truth because I'm going to clear up all these lies up here because I'm ready to tell the truth. I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. That was Cameron on the after party, y'all. He was taking the vow of being honest. And he said the other real truth is that, you know what? I was really trying to hold the hand of Claire. I was really trying to kiss on Claire. I was trying to do all these things. But behind the scenes, Claire was telling me straight up, don't touch me, don't kiss me, don't do none of that. We're not doing none of that. She was stopping him dead in her tracks. This is what Cameron's saying. This is his story, y'all. This is his truth. Y'all can decide if it's the truth or not. I'm just here reporting what he said. He said, I know there was some stuff talked about that I wasn't attracted to Claire. That wasn't true. Claire was exactly what I wanted for. I said I wanted a slender girl. Claire was slender. She was exactly what I wanted. He clearing that up too. He said, I know there was a lot of talk about Claire saying I wanted a slender girl, but Claire was beautiful and she was slender. She was exactly what I wanted. I didn't have no problem with the way that she looked. And even old Brennan over there chimed in and said, yeah, that's true, because off camera, he was always talking about how he was so attracted to Claire. So the story now becomes that it wasn't Cameron that wasn't interested in Claire. It was Claire who wasn't interested in Cameron. She was the underground one, and she was acting in front of the cameras. And then when the cameras left, she was the one saying, don't touch me, don't kiss me, don't hold my hand, and don't do nothing. But then, of course, Lauren had to chime in, because, you know, Lauren loves a good argument. Lauren loves a good argument. She loves to interject. She loves to make comments. And she said, Cameron, that's not what Claire told me, Cameron.
And off camera, multiple times, he's told the guys how attractive he was to Claire. So it was...
Oh, this is crazy. What has Claire said to you?
You know, Orion ain't here for Lauren to talk about and get into no argument with. So she decides she's going to get into a back and forth with Cameron. She was, no, Cameron. I'm going to hold you accountable just like I hold Orion accountable, because I'm the accountability police for everybody else, but not for myself, but for everybody else. I'm the accountability police. And he said, what Claire told me was you told her that you wanted a slender girl and that you didn't want no girl like her, and that you was talking about her body, and that you said Claire's butt was too big. Lauren said that Claire told her that Cameron told her her butt was too big, and if they ever did have sex, he wouldn't want to bleep, 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 bleep. What would be so much they have to bleep it out that they can't talk about what Cameron said he wouldn't want to do to Claire's big old booty? I never saw no big old booty on Claire. I don't even know if I believe this stuff.
Claire says, let me get it out. Sorry. Claire said you said her butt was too big. That's what, I'm gonna keep it real. She said that you said her butt was too big, and that if you all had sex, you would never.
But Cameron said, you know what, I'm about to tell some more truth. I really don't even understand why Claire wasn't attracted to me from the first place. He said, because, you know, the day after the wedding, Claire told me she was in the big black guys. He said Claire told him he was in the big black guys with muscles. That's what Cameron told me that Claire said to him. I said, what? These stories are getting wilder and wilder for the moment. But then he said, I don't believe it. I don't think it's true. And they said, well, why don't you believe it? Why don't you believe that she's in the big black guys with big old things down there? And he said, I don't believe it because all her boyfriends have been white. That's why I didn't believe her when she said it. Y'all, this is some diabolical, crazy stuff. I'm telling you, This is so crazy. It's so many lies being told all season long. At this point in time, I'm just going to declare everybody a liar. Everybody's a liar. You know, when you have kids and nobody will tell the truth, they all get put on punishment. When you say, listen, I'm not going to figure out who's lying. I'm not going to figure out who's lying. Therefore, all y'all on punishment. All of y'all. Cameron said, I still want to tell the truth. I still want to speak my truth. He said off camera, Claire kept telling him all the time, I want you to leave the apartment. I don't want you here. He said, that's why I kept trying to get her to say it on camera, because when the cameras weren't rolling, she kept telling me, I want you to leave the apartment. I want you to get out of here. And then Lauren says, Cameron, that's not how I heard it from Claire. That's not how I heard it from Claire one bit. Claire says that the story is you were the one that wanted to go to the bedroom because it was about your feelings. It wasn't about her feelings. So we got some he said, she said stuff over here. Who do y'all believe? Do you believe Cameron's story that it was all about the reason he was going to the bedroom because Claire wanted it? Or do you believe Claire's story that the reason he was going to the bedroom by himself was because he wanted it? Because according to Lauren saying, Cameron, I got to hold you accountable. It wasn't because of Claire. It was because of you. Woo! I tell you, Lauren loved a good fight. Lauren loved a good fight. She loved to hold people accountable and she loved to be right. Cameron said Claire is so diabolical. She's so wishy-washy in her thoughts. She does one thing, says another. He says she's all over the place. We saw that she was all over the place because anytime he tried to pin her down, she'd be moving around like this. It was a whole lot of people this season, dodging bullets, ducking and diving, dodging the truth. Like I told y'all before, the Matrix, witness protection program, filling out fake HR statements. They've been doing a whole lot this season. And Cameron came over here to spill the beans about Claire and say, no, we ain't gonna let her just keep telling stories out here. I'm gonna tell my side too. And then y'all can decide who's telling the truth. He said another thing that was weird about Claire, he said she was weird. She was weird. He said sometimes we'd have these conversations and I would confide in her my feelings. I really open up to her and tell her things. And then next thing you know, when they get on camera, she's sitting on there repeating his words, but acting like it was her words. What? That sounds kind of crazy, Cameron. What you saying? He said, I would sit and talk to Claire and tell her my feelings and my emotions. And then afterwards, we would get on camera and then she would start repeating my words almost verbatim, but acting like they're her words. You mean to tell me she was taking your lines? She was taking your acting lines? Because I'm going to tell you right now, all these people are acting. Listen, Cameron, if you could lie about your daddy, if you could mislead us all and act like your daddy just had the flu and couldn't make it to the wedding, and then you can make us believe like your daddy is on a deathbed for 20 years, then you can make us believe your daddy's on a deathbed, like he's about to die any time now, then we find out he's been on his deathbed for 20 years. If you could lie about all that, Cameron, let me tell you something. I do not believe any of these stories you're telling me. And they could very well be true. They could very well be true. But when I got a he said Cameron and a he said Claire, I'm just like I told y'all before, all y'all on punishment. And I'm declaring all y'all liars. Period. Point blank. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I will see you next week to see what's going on because we see the episode coming up. We see the tragedy that's about to happen with Emily. I don't know if Emily's clumsy. I don't know if she's drunk driving. I don't know what's going on with Emily, but she is injury prone. We're going to see that. We're going to see some more crying by Lauren like we need any more. We're going to see some more flip-flopping by Orion coming back. We're going to see some crying going on from Emily. We now going to see Becca start crying, and we finally going to see Austin start losing and say, I can't do this no more. What you mean? You can't lie no more, Austin? You tired of lying? I'm telling you, eventually the truth comes out. Everybody can't wear a mask forever, y'all. You can't wear a mask forever. It's going to eventually come out. But anyway, y'all, I will talk to you later. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.